What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So guys, today we are doing a guide on the new business, the Salvage Yard. For the people that don't know yet, this business was added this week Tuesday with the Chop Shop DLC. If you haven't checked out the DLC yet, make sure to do so. You can check out everything new in the DLC by clicking top right now. The first thing that you will have to do if you want to start is, of course, you have to buy the business. You can get a Salvage Yard on Mazebank Foreclosure. There are 5 locations that you can pick from, 3 in the city, 1 in Paleto Bay, and then also 1 in Sandy Shores. I can already tell you guys, definitely get a location in the city because most of the missions will be located over there. So let's now take a quick look at these 3 locations and kind of decide which one is the best. The first one is La Puerta. You kind of see that there is a large space in front of the Salvage Yard, so that's good if you want to land a helicopter. But the downside for this one is that you're pretty far from a road. So let's just say that you just exited your Salvage Yard, you want to call in a vehicle, then it's actually not that handy. The second location is Strawberry. By the way guys, the interior for all these locations is exactly the same. Also the profits and all of that is exactly the same. For Strawberry, you can see that there is not that much space to land a helicopter, but this one is closer to a road, so that's kind of a plus point. And then the last location that we have is Murrieta Heights. This is the one that I have, and this is also the one that I recommend. With Murrieta Heights, you kind of have a good amount of space to land a helicopter, and also you're very close to a road. You're also very close to a highway. So in my opinion, this is the best one. But of course, if you want to get one of the others in the city, it's also perfectly fine. So let's now see what kind of upgrades that we have for this business. First of all, we have the tint, kind of typical. Of course, this doesn't change anything besides the color of the interior. Then we have something which is called Get Trade Rates. Very simple. If you get this, you will get a 50% discount on Morse Mutual claims. So if your vehicle gets destroyed, and also a 50% discount if you want to repair your vehicle at LS Customs. 450,000 probably on the long term you will earn it back. But it's not really worth it, especially if you're kind of short on money. You definitely don't have to get this. Then we have the tow truck. This I do recommend. It's kind of the second part of the business besides the robberies. It doesn't really matter which one you get, so the beater is just a rusty version, but the performance of both of these is exactly the same. So if you don't really care about the appearance, just get the beater one. I got the tow truck one, but to be honest, it wasn't really necessary. Then we have the wall safe, 750k. Now this is just a upgrade of the capacity of the safe that you will have in your office. Normally the safe will be 100k. If you get this one, you will have 250k, but more about that later. Then the last thing I also recommend, it's a extra staff member, and what this does, it basically halves the time that you will need to salvage parts from vehicles. So more about that later as well, but also something that I recommend. So the staff and the tow truck are the ones that you kind of have to get, I would say. So let's now take a look at the business. First, let's start with the robberies. This is a pretty simple part. It's basically mini heists, I would say. It's very comparable to, for example, the contracts that we have in the auto shop. But what you have is each week on this PC, you will have 3 cars that you can steal. So each week, in real life, by the way, you can do 3 robberies. These robberies, they will reset on Thursday this week because it's the first week of the DLC. It didn't reset. So just to be clear, you cannot repeat these robberies. You will have to wait until the next week. And probably in total, we will have more than 3 robberies. So there will be kind of a rotation system where each week there will be 3. And then the next week there will be 3 others. And this is of course a huge disadvantage of this business. You cannot grind this 24/7. So if you're looking to make a lot of money fast, this business is kind of limited, and it has a huge disadvantage compared to basically all of the other businesses that we have in the game. So when you start a robbery, the construction of the mission is always the same. First of all, you will have a scope out mission. You will have to go to the place of the robbery. You just have to take some pictures, very simple, and that's it. After the scope out mission, you will have to do 2 mandatory missions. These are kind of the setup missions, you could say. There is also 1 optional setup mission. This will make the robbery easier for you, but like I said, it's not mandatory, it's optional. So this is kind of up to you. Besides these setup missions, you also have some very fast tasks that you have to do in free mode. You can find these at the top right. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3, and sometimes there is also an optional one. But the optional one for this you really don't have to do, in my opinion. You can find these tasks just randomly in free mode. They are marked with a green duffel bag, so this is not something that you launch from the planning board. Only the 2 setup missions you will have to launch from the planning board. When you get to the location of the green duffel bag, there will be a green circle. You press right on D-pad. Then you will have to take something, steal something. Very simple. Probably return it to the salvage yard or just stash it somewhere for the robbery. After you have completed the 2 setup missions and also the mandatory tasks, you can go ahead and start the robbery. And I have to say, these robberies are very fun. So until now, we have 3 of them. I've done all 3 of them once because I can only do them once. But I have to say, these are very original, very fun, so definitely check them out. For each robbery, there is also 3 challenges. If you complete a challenge, you will get 10k. If you complete all 3 challenges, you will also get an additional 20k, and this will give you a bonus reward of 50,000. Of course, you finished the robbery, so now you have a vehicle that you stole, and there is 2 things that you can do with this vehicle. The first one is send it to Liberty City to Yusuf Amir. So just basically sell the vehicle, very similar to the import-export business. And the second one is salvage the vehicle for parts. So basically your staff members are just going to strip down this vehicle and they're going to sell the parts. You don't get any parts yourself or something like this. It's just kind of a loss of money. So this is why I always recommend that you guys sell the vehicle that you get from a robbery, because salvaging for parts, the only reason why you would do this is just because you are lazy and you don't want to do the sell mission. But I have to say, these missions are very easy. You just have to drive to the terminal. The NPCs drive completely normal, so it's really not that difficult. So this was the first part of the business, the robberies. Now the second part, this is the tow truck. Now the tow truck, if you have it, just get into it and then you will have an option, launch the tow truck service. And these missions, I don't really have to explain a lot. There will just be a vehicle somewhere. Sometimes it's an abandoned vehicle, sometimes it's kind of a vehicle that you steal. But you just have to go to the location, attach the vehicle, and then bring it back to the salvage yard. So just like the name says, kind of, you just have to tow vehicles. Now, when you do this, sometimes you can get a wanted level. This is when you steal the vehicles, when it's an abandoned vehicle. So when it's kind of rusty, you will not get a wanted level. Just so you guys know, you cannot call Lester to lose the wanted level. You just have to lose it yourself. But it's only a 2-star wanted level, so it's actually not that difficult to lose. If the vehicle gets deattached, don't worry. If it's flipped, just wait and it will respawn very closely. And if it's not flipped, you can just reattach it. You also don't have to worry at all about damaging this vehicle. You can ruin it, it won't matter. You don't have to pay for anything. After you deliver the vehicles to your salvage yard, they will be salvaged. And if you have 1 staff member for 1 vehicle, it will take 2 days in GTA Online, so that's 96 minutes. If you have 2 staff members, it will take 48 minutes. So this is kind of the advantage of having a staff member, because it will halve the time that it will take to salvage the parts of a vehicle. When the salvaging is done, you will either get a call from Jamal or you will just get the money straight to your bank account and also a notification. By the way, the waiting time for the salvaging, you don't have to be online during this. So you can also just go off the game and when you return, you will just get your money. Then the last part of this business, and that's the safe. And the safe is actually pretty simple. Just like with the nightclub, your tow truck business has a popularity. The more popular that it is, the higher that your daily income for this safe will be. The maximum is 24, and if you want to have 24,000 as a daily income, you will basically have to tow 4 vehicles. After a while, of course, this popularity, it decreases, and sadly we don't have a bar, just like with the nightclub where we can see this, but that's basically it. The extra safe space capacity, it's not really necessary because you can only get 24k anyway, and the save that you get normally default is 100k, so that's more than sufficient. So guys, that was it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out my Discord in the description, and peace out, you guys.